Honorable sisters and brothers, I'm Preacher Doc. This is Saturday, October 15th, 2011. This is a retape of a tremendous expose tape exposing that criminally insane, murderous assassin, experiment on Americans to death, Homo Hoover. I will present proofs. Please notice that as you go up the ladder of authority in this USA, precisely concerning a appointed position, the director of the FBI is appointed. It's a political plum appointee position. Concerning that liar, immoral, grand theft artist, injurious, the power behind violent assassinations and experimenting to death of some Americans, namely J. Edgar Hoover, director of the FBI. I repeat with emphasis, is an appointed position. Understand, realize, and be outraged concerning these true facts, these proofs. 1. Homo Hoover was the power behind the silencing death of Millie McGree's grandfather because he had talked publicly that J. Edgar Hoover was related to him, a Negro man, and J. Edgar Hoover was a pass for white. You Google Millie McGee exposes J. Edgar Hoover as her relative and a pass for white. 2. Homo Hoover gave the info to Dugout Doug MacArthur needed to smash what was called the Vet Village on the lawn of the White House. These were World War I's veterans out of work and in need of money, and they were demanding their vet bonus money that they needed. Several were injured and some were actually killed. 3. Homo Hoover was the power where that representative who was to expose Hoover, he was going to give a speech, public speech to news and etc., that he suddenly dropped dead. And that was one of the early questionable coincidences. 4. When the great FBI hero Melvin Purvis said that the public had said that he should replace Hoover, he said, if they request, I will. Homo Hoover got him out of the FBI, and Purvis was then found dead. Homo Hoover ruled that Purvis shot himself. Mrs. Purvis angrily called Homo Hoover a liar, etc., and insisted that Mr. Purvis would not abandon the family. 5. Homo Hoover was the power behind having Americans experimented to death. That insane tyrant experimented, as did the Nazis, with their twin experiments. And Homo Hoover used some of those same Nazis here in the U.S. 6. Homo Hoover was the power behind attempts to silence this protester. And the reason I am not publicly honored or known, and that they can force to say that I'm supposed to be whatever they say I am supposed to be. That criminally insane Homo Hoover robbed me of my Xerox photocopier from Rochester, New York, can absolutely prove. And especially, #1 in the world, my laser futuristic multi-purpose coherent beam. I can prove my claims. Absolutely. Laser futuristic multi-purpose coherent beam is my original work. Absolutely. 7. Homo Hoover directly at close quarters had the great Irish descent attorney that promised me on a Monday that by Friday he would begin legal proceedings, thus Homo Hoover, thus the crimes I can prove and some that he knew. Considering Homo Hoover a criminally insane murdering tyrant, I called the great attorney on Wednesday to see if he was okay and would keep his promise for Friday. His brother answered the phone and said the great attorney was dead. Dead? I talked to him in person on Monday and he was in good health and high spirits. His brother said, I talked to him in person yesterday in the office and he was in great health and spirits. He said, on my way back home, they called me and they said that he died. I said, died? How could it be? By what? His brother said, I don't know. Everything is such a confused rush around here. They even tell me that they're going to bury him Friday. I showed up for that funeral service. And there was a terrific rainstorm that day. Even though many of the Washington notables showed. After the religious service and everyone left, I stood alone in that rainstorm by the great attorney's grave and said, someday I'm going to get that criminally insane, murdering Homo Hoover. 8. Homo Hoover was the power behind J.F.K's assassination. That is the polite word for murder. Main reason, J.F.K. had decided that after he was reelected, he would fire Homo Hoover. Realized that Homo Hoover replaced Attorney General Robert Kennedy's office receptionist because I was going by his office over to Attorney General Robert Kennedy's office, insisting we confer the reason to replace Hoover. This Hooverist then tells me, and I pinpointed her and got to admit it was Hoover's orders, I cannot enter the Attorney General's office again. No one can deny that Homo Hoover was the power and in charge of the cover-up investigation, that Homo Hoover ruled that JFK was killed by that magic bullet. 9. Homo Hoover was the power behind the murder of Reverend Martin Luther King. Reason, Reverend King knew of Homo Hoover's personal secrets and was publicly saying, well, there was the pass for white and murder, that Hoover should be replaced. 10. Homo Hoover directly had President J.F.K. murdered. Assassinated. The polite word for murder. And the attempted murder of yours truly. You realize that I was actually there, and that if you do not have me with Robert Kennedy that evening, it's not complete, and maybe even cover-up stories. I suggested that Honorable Senator Kennedy debate McCarthy, and I explained why. This is in the brain trust sessions by his brother-in-law Steve Smith on the ground floor at Ambassador Hotel. And that really helped Bobby to win the primary. Thus, Bobby would become president. And one of the first things Bobby would do would be to fire Hoover. Therefore, I was concerned that Homo Hoover would murder him. Assassinate Bobby. And maybe that night at the Ambassador Hotel. Thus, I walked up to Bobby face to face and told him not once, twice, to stick to the itinerary, and you'll win. After the speech, you stick to the itinerary, come back up the same stairs here to the presidential suite, so that I could walk behind him. He turned and went, and then he listened to somebody and went in the opposite direction. So Hoover's got to control him to who and what, and that was to go through a commercial kitchen. A commercial kitchen. So Bobby was cut down. Why the two guns theory and so many shots? Because Homo Hoover thought I would be walking behind Pres-to-be Bobby Kennedy. And this is the proving truth. This is Preacher Doc. These are absolutely true. The original tape can't be found or can't be obtained. And that is what has occurred. Thus 200 of my proving tapes. Now, to all of you who know this is the proving truth, of course, and say that by our Constitution, I not could or should, must be honored and reasonable compensation for what I patriotically achieved. And to all of you, I say, of course, thank you.